stirring the coffee with 2 sticks that have pig heads on them using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, Trader Joe's dark roast made in a French press with some frothed cream. That's what I'm talking about. Man, that's good. You go to Trader Joe's, you get the big can. It's like a cardboard can. It looks like one of those, like an oatmeal can, cardboard. And you take the top off, you put it in the grinder, grind it to a coarse grind. It is perfect for the French press. The flavor is magnificent. It's one of my favorites. It's right up there with my Ethiopian and Guatemalan. Yeah. Let's get started. Happy Thursday to you. I have a full day cutting hair today. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited about this. It's a good day. Spring is almost here. March 20th is the first day of spring. So the long, cold, dark winter is on its way out. We're going to have a few little weather fits probably in the next couple weeks because March can be a little funny, but we'll be fine. Get the glasses on so I can actually see what I'm doing here. Well, I am happy to have a profession and a trade. As you know, I studied to be a therapist. That's what my master's degree is in, and I did it for over 2 decades. But I also cut hair, for those of you that are new, which is a family trade. It's something that my father does and my mother did, although she can still cut hair, I guess, if she wanted to, but she's chosen not to. My dad still cuts hair every single day, which is great. He also had a profession and a trade as well. Can you imagine working all week with people as a therapist, listening to their issues, and then on Saturdays or maybe one day a week, you're in a barbershop or a salon cutting hair, listening to stories, using your hands, making people look handsome, beautiful, and then sending them out a little more confident than when they came in. It's funny how being in the hair industry is almost like being a therapist. So my best vocational counsel is to have both a profession and a trade. My grandfather said, always have something you can do with your hands. And I've been known to advise people to learn a trade before they go to college or after they go to college. Do it for a year, do an apprenticeship. Even the accountant, the lawyer, the IT guy would benefit from learning a trade, whether it be woodworking, electrical, hair cutting, something that you can make money using your hands. What are some of the trades that you might be interested in? It doesn't take long to learn. It takes longer to become an expert tradesman, but skills are the new education. What if you just made tables? What if in your garage, what if you made tables, like a nice side table, or farm tables, like harvest tables, and that was your thing, and you became the farm table guy, the farm table gal? Pick one thing. What if you made sconces, wall sconces? What if are you an artist? What if you made icons? There's so much you can do along with your profession if you have one. I think it's a great combination. There's many professions that you probably want to retire from, but there's many trades that you'll do until you die. I know my dad will probably die with clippers and scissors in his hands. He was happy to retire from General Electric. He was happy to leave them, but he loves cutting hair, and it's very social. And that's something he enjoys doing. So I would ask you, think about a profession and a trade. If you only have a profession, just Google list of trades and take a look at those things. And you can visit a tradesman, get to know people on social media and see what it's like for them. There are many people who do it full-time. There's many people who do it part-time. That right there is great career counsel for you. Let's talk about boundaries a little bit. Some interpersonal conflict has its roots in breach of boundaries. Somehow somebody crosses a line, crosses a boundary, and then someone gets offended and people get estranged or become enemies or such. I want you to revisit your boundaries and strengthen them. Don't ever fall into that vulnerability trap. There's this thing going around with men, and it's usually pushed by feminists and weak men, that men need to be vulnerable. No, you don't. You need to be strong. Your vulnerability is in private, not public. You always maintain a strong face, a strong appearance. If you want to cry, cry in private. Someone asked me, remember that documentary? I was in a documentary last year, 2 years ago, about masculinity. And the interviewer said, should men cry? I said no. And he says, when is it okay to cry? I said, birth and death. The birth of your children and the death of somebody. Other than that, you're being too emotional, my opinion. But that's after working with hundreds and thousands of people over the past 40 years. Don't train yourself to be vulnerable. You can be compassionate and understanding without being vulnerable. You know what vulnerability is? For instance, if you do a safety or security audit of your home, walk around your home, what would be the best way for a thief to get in? Through a window? Through a door? Are your doors locked? Do you have several locks on the doors? Do you have locks on your windows? How can someone get in to your home? What's the first way that they would get in? That's the same thing with your heart. How do people weaken you? How do you get weak? You need to do what I call a vulnerability audit. How can someone get to you? You know where they do it? Through your boundaries, through weak boundaries. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, what I want to do is teach you to keep your boundaries. Have boundaries and be happy. Have no boundaries and be tormented forever. I was sad after the suicide of my good friend Craig. Happened 1 week ago. He killed himself. He shot himself in the chest. Horrible thing. I did a video on it. I sent out a private video to the subscribers of the newsletter. If you like the Daybreak Show, you will love my writing. Subscribe to my newsletter. Go to georgebruno.com. If it doesn't work to sign up, then do it from a different browser. That's all I can tell you. If you signed up and didn't get the newsletter, check your spam box. You will benefit from my writing. I've written for over 40 years. What I wrote this past week in the newsletter, the email newsletter, was helpful to a lot of people. How do I know? Because I've gotten hundreds and hundreds of replies from people. Right now, the newsletter goes out to about 5,000 people. I would love for it to go out to 50,000 people. So sign up for the newsletter at georgebruno.com. I don't send them out regularly. I send them out when I want to. And I'm going to try once a week and then twice a week and so forth. So I was sad after the suicide of a good friend. Someone said to me, as soon as the sadness leaves, you're going to start getting angry. And I actually got mad. I'm like, what do you mean, angry? I'm sad. You're mocking my sadness. You're mocking my grief. And they said, you're eventually going to get angry. And for me, it was too soon to hear that. And this was a person who had experienced 2 suicides in their life of people that they loved. So now it's been a week since Craig is gone. And I went to the funeral on Tuesday. And you know what? They're right. The sadness and grief is turning to anger. I'm angry and disappointed at how he took his life. Yes, I'm compassionate about what he may have been going through. But man, that person was right about the anger thing. I'm pissed now. Like if I was going to the gym today, I'd get a good workout and be a good angry workout, you know? It's funny how we cycle through emotions. That is why I say emotions are your enemy. You cannot run your life by emotions. For the first 3 to 4 days after I found this news out, I was physically tired. I was wiped out. I felt like I had labored for 18 hours. I can't explain it. I would cry. The tears would just show up, and then they would go. Just go. I'd be in the middle of something and then just start crying. How weird is that? I didn't feel it coming. It just, boom, just like someone turned on a faucet. And I can't imagine being a person who can't cry. Now, I hadn't cried in 7 years. Maybe that was a problem. But I'll tell you what, if there was a log jam in me emotionally, it certainly broke up in the past several days. Now, after that grief is kind of, the edge is gone, I'm pissed. I'm angry. And I know that will change too. But I'm experiencing it. I'm not hiding it. I'm not pushing it back. It's natural. So if you went through something like that, I am sure that you can also relate. You go from grief to anger, and there's several different stages that you're going to go through, and in no particular order. The first is always going to be absolute disbelief, denial, and then sadness, the grief. And then the anger is going to come. It's going to come. It'll be there. Yeah. Back to boundaries. Boundaries are beautiful. G.K. Chesterton said, "Don't ever take down a fence until you know the reason it was put up. Maintain boundaries with people. Boundaries make for nice, functional relationships." Take my word for it. Trust me on that. I am on a quest to lose 14.2 pounds. I got it down right to the ounces. 14.2 pounds that I'm going to lose. I don't have a time frame yet, but I know that's what I need to cut down. Do I look fine? Yes. Does my health reflect, does my lab work reflect something different? It does, and a lot of it has to do with the extra weight. My BMI is too high, and I'm feeling it. And 14.2 pounds is going to be like my fighting weight. I know as I drop a few pounds, I feel lighter. I feel like I float. I don't feel it's thud, thud, thud when I walk. I've been watching Paul Ravella. I left a link with him a few days ago in the community section of the YouTube channel. Paul Ravella. I really like the guy. He talks about using walking as a means to get shredded. Now, I don't care about being shredded. I just want to be muscular, strong. Well, forget the muscular. That's all vanity. I want to be strong, flexible, and functional. So if I have to move the gas grill off the deck so I can power wash and stain the deck, I need the strength to do that. Functional strength. I have to move the refrigerator out to clean behind it and under it. That takes strength. What am I going to do? Hire a handyman to come over and do that? No, I want to remain strong throughout my whole life. So think about less vanity and more function and flexibility. I think that's a good way to look at life. If you are strong, if you are flexible, you will look better. You will. And if you're not competing on stage, being a bodybuilder or something like that, or you just want to look decent in your clothes, because how you look affects how people treat you, especially if you're in sales, especially if you are in any kind of influential position, especially if you're single. Can you imagine if you're a chubby person, the kind of people you're going to attract versus the kind of people you would attract if you were in better shape? I understand that. Appearance is a big factor. It's not the only factor, but it's the first thing that people see. Now, they have to get to know you. You could have a great person. The joke, she's fat, but she has a great personality. Same thing with men. I know guys, and I just said goodbye to one who had a phenomenal personality, but his appearance kept him, I believe, from experiencing love. That's my opinion and my opinion only. As I said in my video, if you're a MGTOW kind of dude, you better have a freedom mindset. This is one of the reasons why I really appreciate Coach Greg Adams. He talks about the free agent lifestyle. He's not emotionally connected to his desire for the opposite sex. If he meets someone, fantastic. If he doesn't, fantastic. His happiness and contentment doesn't go up and down with his relationship with women. Coach Greg has become a friend of mine. We didn't get along at first for some philosophical reasons. Now I fully 100% trust him as a brother. His message might be harsh for some people, but he does not lie. He doesn't lie. Sometimes the truth hurts. I hate to say cold, hard truth, because I just hate the phrase cold, hard truth, because of some of the people that say it. It sounds callous. And not everybody's a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy. I don't like being a tough guy. And I don't want to throw around tough guy things. I'm a resolute guy, but not a tough guy, if that makes sense. Tough is a little too coarse. People who talk about cold, hard truth literally are coarse. And you can't get to know them. They keep you at arm's length. Trust me on that. I posted something on Twitter, a long time ago, for men, and someone screenshotted this and they sent it to me. I can't access my Twitter now because I was banned from Twitter. I said, a woman telegraphs her desire with her body, not her words. 90%, 96% of what a person is thinking comes out in their body language. That's why one of my favorite activities is watching TV with the volume off, with it muted. You can tell what people are thinking just by the way their faces are by the way they act, their body language. Watch TV for a week. For instance, did you ever watch Shark Tank? Watch Shark Tank with the volume muted. You can tell which of the shark people are impressed, are happy, or not impressed, or angry, just by the looks on their face, their posture, how they're sitting in the chair. That's a great show to watch with the volume off. It's a great show. Do that a few times a week. If you can't do it for a whole week, just pick 1 hour a week. If you're going to watch TV, turn the volume off. Or watch your favorite movie without the volume. You'll learn a lot. A woman telegraphs her desire with her body, not her words. There is no second act, and I'm talking about like dates. For instance, if you don't sense beyond a shadow of a doubt that she's interested in you in the first act or on the first date, you need to move on. There's no convincing or selling or screwing around or manipulation or engineering or manipulation that is going to make her want you, men. And I'm not even talking about sex. I'm just talking about desire, period. Want more of you, to explore more of you, take it to another level, or a second date. If you're wondering if she's into you, she's not. Because if a woman is interested in you, she makes it abundantly clear. You don't need, if you have to wonder or ask me, give me all these, explain this to me, like, do you think she's into me? I have worked with so many people who tell me these stories, and I said, if she doesn't make it abundantly clear, whether it's a yes or a no, as some of us like to say, if it's not a clear yes, it's a hell no. Move on with cordial stoicism, zero emotion, zero bitching. If she's into you or wants more, she will make it known by the end of the first date, gentlemen. If not, it's a one-act play, and your position is this. Thank you. Next. So make a course correction and be as direct as possible. Keep the emotions out of it. Most women don't know what to do with a clear, decisive, or direct man. Think about this. If you are clear, direct, and decisive, that's probably one of the most attractive things that you can display. Most men are ambiguous and wishy-washy about their intentions, and then they go on to get used one weekend after another. Don't go there. Don't go there. No more dates at Fleming's Steakhouse. Outback is for girlfriends. Fleming's is for wives. Stop taking women out to dinner, men. Stop it. Cup of coffee or a drink. No dinners. Sorry. Coffee, drink, take a walk. Take a stroll. That's it. I'll never forget the first time I heard a guy say, I'd love to get a motorcycle, but my wife won't let me. I want to grab that guy, but I don't want to embarrass him in front of people. When I hear things like that, I went, for years, 30 years, over 30 years, close to, I'd say 40 years of going on men's retreats, conferences and this kind of thing, and men get around a table and they talk, or around a campfire, that kind of thing. And it's almost like a gathering of beta males, most church retreats and conferences. That's why I had to get away from church-type retreats, because the material is soft. It makes soft men weak men. I look at Christian retreats, I look at get-togethers and meetups, and I see fat, bearded men rubbing their bellies, drinking beer, coffee, smoking pipes, not doing anything in life. They're weak, ineffective. They're little gnats. They get pushed around by their wife. They're manipulated by their wife's emotions. They're not leaders. They're weak. They will disappear like a vapor, and people will pick through their shit. And 99% of their shit will end up in a dumpster or a thrift store. What a legacy. That's why I stopped going to church and Christian retreats. If I found one where there were some men, maybe I would go. 10 years ago, I wrote in my journal, nothing like hopping on the motorcycle with my sweetie, riding around Jim Thorpe, River Road, New Hope, and then tooling around Center City at 11 p.m. Why did I do that? Because there's no deer. I would try to get out of Upper Bucks County before the sun went down, because when the deer are out there, it's just hazardous for motorcyclists. So I'd ride around Center City, Philadelphia at 11 o'clock, stop at a cafe, have an iced tea, have a decaf coffee, something like that. And then I'd ride down to Philadelphia Airport, behind the airport, watching the young guys drag racing their latest modded motorcycles, and then taking Kelly Drive and feeling its cool air pockets on the way back to Conshohocken. have a little glass of wine and a great night's sleep, and I would call that a perfect day. I would say, thank you, Lord, for a great day. And I'd close my eyes. Perfect day. Loved it. Been looking a lot in my journal. Back in 2014, I said, sharing your thoughts gets you disinvited from certain parties, but gets you invited to the ones that you really want to be at. Apply that to your life where you can. Men, you are never a woman's wingman, especially if you once desired her and she friend-zoned you. She wants you to stay friends, which means that she wants her cake and eat it too. That's why I say, next, Act 1 didn't work. That's okay. You can have plenty of Act 1s. You don't need to have Act 157 with the girl who rejected you just because you need female company. Let's get real. Somebody needed to hear that today. The incel, socially awkward dude looks at the guy out there who's slaying all kinds of pee, and he thinks, man, he's got it made. He's a success. And he watches channels about slaying pee and the dating coaches and having game and all this nonsense. But the pee slayer looks at the happily married man with kids, and he thinks he's got it made. He's a success. Contentment, isn't that what everybody wants? I suggest watching the movie La Grande Bellezza, which means the great beauty. Watch the Italian version with English subtitles. Thank me later. Watch the movie. It'll change your life. It moved me beyond what I could even explain to you. Here's a Thursday joke for you. I asked the pastor to pray for my hearing. He put his hands on my head and ears and shook and prayed loudly. Then he said, how is your hearing now? I said, I don't know. It doesn't take place until Tuesday at the courthouse. The song Lament by Ultravox is a song about grief. The lyrics are this: and just as my eyes start seeing after all the pain, the twist in my life starts healing, just to twist again. In stillness and sorrow returns that softly sighing lament. And just as my smile is returning after all the pain, the fire inside stops burning, just to burn again. In moments of madness returns that softly sighing lament. From the band Ultravox, 1984. I'll put a link for it down below. It's magnificent. A man needs a balanced philosophical and worldview diet. Too much red-pilled content starts to change you for the worse. It turns you into an asshole, and you're taking the wrong pill. If whatever pill or philosophy or worldview or mindset you have turns you into a jerk, guess what? You've adopted the wrong mindset. You took the wrong pill. The best test is this: does your worldview create a persona in you where you can peacefully coexist and positively influence the widest range of people? Does your worldview or mindset make you think all women are like that? Or all whatever is like that? Go easy on the new ideologies, on the red pill. Adjust your life accordingly. Nothing can make a man more unlikable than too much red pill. I didn't say discard it. It's a beautiful thing having the red pill lens. Too much, and you become a jerk. There are people who won't speak to me because they had a little too much red pill. I've been invited to speak on stages because of my worldview, my red pill outlook about life. I've been disinvited from conferences and stages because of the very same thing. My attitude is this: I go to where the truth is needed. I consider myself a missionary to men. That's how I describe it. I asked my dad to give men advice. What advice would you give to men? His exact word. He didn't give me 15 minutes of explanation about anything. He said one sentence. This is like the guru sitting on a mountain and you expect this gold, this life advice. But I asked my dad, Dad, what advice would you give men? His exact words are this: it's later than you think. For those that have ears to hear, listen to that and take it to heart. Finish this sentence. If today you hear his voice, then what? Put the answer down below. Just a little quiz for you. And here's a piece of advice that I would leave you with today. Be loyal to everyone that you call a friend, but be owned by no one. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.